I've gotta go to the potty. Oh my God, I have to stop doing this. I did it. I finally caught up on 90 Day Happily Ever After, and so now I can give you a recap of how I feel about episode 3. Hands down, the worst part of this episode was Kim bringing up the idea of the yammy again. I hate even having to say that to you. I'm so sorry that you had to hear it come out of my mouth. One more time, yammy. It's disgusting, right? You and Usman are both adults. Can you guys please just use the term like have sex or do it? For the love of God, like just don't bring it up anymore. I do not want to hear about your sex life any more than I already have. And if I absolutely have to hear that you're doing it, I don't want to know any details about your man's size. I thought it was so funny that this time around, Usman does meet her at the airport and he kisses her when he sees her and then is making jokes about their night together and how it's going to be shaking, which is another detail that I didn't need to know. Because last time we saw them, it was just such polar opposite behavior. I think it's just funny now Usman knows, okay, I've promoted her to girlfriend, so now I have to treat her like a girlfriend to keep her around. So I have to kiss her at the airport. I have to do this tonight. Come on, none of us think this is real. Like, we know that this is an act he's putting on, and I just think it's so funny how different it was between night and day, because now he knows like, oh, I have to do this to keep the ball rolling. Like I said in my last video, I really didn't want to talk much about Ed and Liz, so I will make this super short and sweet. Watching Ed and Liz makes me want to throw up, but on top of that, they're not in a 90-day situation and they're not married. So can somebody please explain to me why they're on 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After? I'm watching this show to see international couples struggle and come through that struggle or not go through it. And then when I'm watching Happily Ever After, I want to see the aftermath of K1 couples. Why am I watching Ed and Liz? Their age gap is huge and inappropriate, especially since his daughter is older than her. They both look miserable all the time, and their little creepy couple talk makes me feel so disgusted. And if y'all were really soulmates, I don't think you would have broken up 8 times already. 9th time's the charm, my ass. This episode, they go and meet one of Liz's friends, which I find hilarious because they are already engaged. Imagine being engaged to somebody. This was never a long distance relationship or anything. They both live in San Diego. So imagine being engaged to someone and then for the first time, your fiance is like, I want you to meet my good friend, one of my best friends. So they got engaged and he hasn't even met one of her best friends, okay? And then she says, oh yeah, this guy's really protective of me. How close can you be when this guy hasn't even met Ed before? And then he's protective of you, so we're gonna see another interview scene. You guys have been on and off so many times. How do any of your friends at this point not know about this situation? During this little interview, Ed tries to prove his love for Liz by telling the friend that he bought Liz a car, because that's not a totally insane thing to do. And then the second worst part of this episode happens. Ed literally says to these 2 other adults that he's eating with, I've gotta go to the potty. At this point in the show, Ed reminds me more of the kindergarten students I used to teach than an adult man, and it has absolutely nothing to do with his height. There is nothing you can do to convince me that Liz is not part of this relationship just to be on TV, because there is no other reason that anyone would be with Ed. Liz is no prize herself, and I think it's a mistake for her to be with this guy, but oh my God, how can she put up with him? Welcome back to another episode of Hating on Bilal. We are here seeing the aftermath of the fight between Shahida and Shahida at that coffee shop they were at. And of course, Bilal is treating it like it's all Shahida's fault. Let me remind everyone that during this whole situation, Shahida was the one who was calmly voicing her opinions. She wasn't shutting down. She wasn't being provocative. And yet she also wasn't the one standing up and yelling and threatening. And last but not least, she wasn't the one literally praying for protection from Satan. Yes, Bilal, you ignoring both of the women at the table and starting to pray to God is definitely not escalating the situation. That's adding no drama whatsoever. He loves playing these 2 women against each other, and by putting on that religious man, I'm gonna stay out of it act, it just makes it so that he can be like, oh, I'm the bigger person, I wasn't causing any drama. Well, how about being a mediator between the 2 women that you have chosen to make a life with? And then when they're at the house, one of Bilal's first real responses to Shahida is that Shahida doesn't have only negatives. He wouldn't have married her otherwise. Wow. He must really get off on making Shida feel bad, because not only did he not say, hey, it went badly, but let's move on and do better next time, he's straight up praising his ex-wife while putting Shida down at the same goddamn time. This dude knows exactly what he's fucking doing, and I hate it so much. Bilal, if you are watching this, change who you are. Poor Shida is like, whatever, I will do my best to like keep my cool next time, and I don't want this situation to happen again. And she's just trying to make peace with her brand new husband, who she then goes to and asks him, are we good? Not anything crazy, just, are we good? He can't even say yes to this request. All he can say is God willing. Imagine going to the person you're married to and asking them if you're good after an argument that you didn't even start, and all they can say is, God willing. Like, that is so fucking sassy. I cannot believe he said that shit. I cannot believe he said that shit, y'all. Of course, every single day, there are still posts of Shida defending Bilal's behavior on social media. So maybe all of this is just made up for TLC. And if not, frankly, I don't know. Shida's continually choosing to be treated this way, but I could not put up with it. Those are my thoughts on episode 3. I actually did find it pretty interesting, and I hope all of you did too. Let's keep watching next week.